Hi, my name is Gabby and welcome back to my channel, Gabby on Paper. In today's video, I am going to do a budget check-in for the first week of May, and I'm also going to go over why I decided to quit my brand new job. So let's get started. I just realized that I forgot to color coordinate my expenses, so I'm gonna go ahead and take a second to do that. So to start, this was for May 1st through the 8th, and I know that is an extra day, but I didn't know what to do with a single floating day since I track everything by month and not exactly by week. This is just to help me, to guide me through the month and see how much money I have left in each category and what I'm able to do. So the first week, again, has 8 days. At the beginning of the month, I budgeted $240, and for groceries, I spent $209 plus $911 plus 5 plus $1044 plus $71.56 for a total of $98.20. I'm gonna quickly go through and double check that. Yep, I spent $98.20. And if I subtract that from the $240, I have $141.80 remaining. That's actually a little scary considering only 1 week of the month has been completed and I've used up a good portion of it, so I'm gonna have to slow down in the grocery category. For dining out, I budgeted $200. I spent $9.15 on one meal and then $33.60 on the next, so that's $42.75 minus 200. That leaves me $157.25. Transportation's an easy one. Transportation, I spent $20, which means I have $30 remaining. Health and fitness, I spent $22.03. So $25 minus $22.03 equals $2.97 left. And then for home, it doesn't look like I've spent anything, so I have $20 left. Moving on to the back, miscellaneous. Yes, okay, this is a crazy one. So miscellaneous, I spent $106.37 and $10.75. So that is $117.12. If I subtract that from 20. Let's double check that. $97.12. So what I spent was bought some postcards, and then I paid for my haircut, one hair product at my salon, and then the tip. That all ended up being $106.37, including the tip, and that was because the hair product was 25% off since it was my first time. That's why I decided to buy it, even though I was out of budget. But I did not budget for the haircut, obviously. I gave myself $20 in the miscellaneous category just to have something in case it came up. But then I remembered I had planned on getting a haircut at some point once I got the job, and I just didn't budget for it anywhere. And I have started a sinking fund for it, but until I build that up and I'm able to pay for the haircut from the sinking fund, I had decided that I was going to cash flow everything and just include it as part of my budget. I just didn't do that. I forgot. I don't know what I was thinking because I was planning on getting a haircut in May. So that is why I'm so over budget already. I'm glad that that is done, even though it's unbudgeted. Hobbies, I have not spent anything, which is always surprising. Entertainment, I also have not spent anything yet. And then nothing for this last category, which is my mom passed away a few years ago, and just what I plan on spending when I celebrate her, I guess. The last thing is I did need to add a travel category. This was an unexpected expense, and I'll talk about this in a little bit, but I didn't budget anything for this. And I did spend $138.98 and $272.60. Let's double check that. So I spent $411.58. I'll go over the details of that in a little bit. But what I will explain though is that it's one trip. We purchased flights separately, like a one-way and then a return one-way, and that was just because it was cheaper that way. We bought one flight with Southwest and one with American or something, to save ourselves like $50 or something. So that's why I had to add that up. But yeah, now I'm just gonna go through and highlight my categories, and we'll get into the second part of the video. So for the second part of this video, I wanted to go over and just kind of discuss why I quit my job and give some of the details of my new job. So let's just go ahead and get started again. So I guess to start, what I want to say is with my old job, the one that I've only been working at for 3 weeks, I was employed through a staffing agency. It was a contract to hire position, but it was like a long-term one. The contract was for 12 to 8 months, and then the employer has the option to hire me on. What they explained to me though was that, you know, if I do well, then yes, then I would be hired on by the actual like employer that I'm doing the work for, not by the agency. So that was fine with me at the time. When they offered me the job, I did ask, you know, do I get, you know, medical benefits and 401k and all those things, and they told me yes, but they really didn't get into the specifics of it. And I didn't think to ask, which is something that I obviously learned for my new job. So I will get into all the specifics of what that means right now. Let's see, let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, so my old job, whatever, I was okay with the pay. The main issue with the pay was that it's a full-time job, but it wasn't 40 hours per week, and I was paid hourly. So my pay wasn't as much as I was expecting, even though I was getting paid more than my previous job. So I'm just gonna leave this portion blank. The new job that I accepted is $10,000 more, and it is a salaried position, but I will be seeing $10,000 more than what I would have made yearly at the hours I was working with the old job. They did say that I potentially had the opportunity to pick up more hours and work overtime, but since it wasn't guaranteed, I didn't want to, you know, consider it. The pay. At the old job, I was paid bi-weekly. And at this new job, I'm going to be paid semi-monthly. And the difference here is at the old job, being paid bi-weekly means you get paid every other week. being paid semi-monthly means you get paid twice a month on a set date. So the big difference there is that even I do budget based on 2 paychecks per month, but 2 times a year on a bi-weekly schedule, you get an extra paycheck, and that's something that I will not get with my semi-monthly pay. I'll just get slightly bigger paychecks than if I were to be paid for that same job bi-weekly. The location, so this one started off work from home and then switched to hybrid. I never got to the hybrid portion because I would have started June 6th and I've quit. And for hybrid for them means in office 2 times per week. My new job will be in office 2 to 3 months while I'm training, getting used to all the programs. So I always have someone there that can assist me if I need help. And then they said that my monitor setup would be important, and I would have a full, I think she said 3 monitors. So while I'm getting used to the job and learning how to do it, she said that will be very helpful, which is why it's in office for a few months. And then once I'm trained, it kind of just depends on how I'm doing and how well I'm learning, then it'll be work from home 2 to 3 times per week, just kind of depending on what we have going on in the office. At the old job with insurance, so this would be medical, vision, dental. Yes, there was insurance, but it would have started after 60 days. And this is one of the things that they didn't tell me about when they offered me the job. They're like, yes, you have full benefits, all medical, vision, and dental. But I didn't think to clarify when that would start. I just assumed it started right away because it did in my previous job. I didn't have to wait for anything to go into effect. And they didn't let me know, which is something that I wasn't happy about. If they were upfront about it, then I wouldn't have, been worried about signing up for benefits. And at the time, I had another job offer. Honestly, that may have swayed me to go with the other job, but maybe that's why they didn't specify when they offered the job. But I've learned my lesson. I did ask when I was offered this new job, and I do get insurance, medical, vision, and dental, and it starts the first day of the month after I start. So this will start June 1st. All right, 401k. So they told me I had a 401k. They didn't give me any specifics. I was never able to sign up for it. It was kind of a mess getting information from them. So this is a big question mark. I have no idea. My new job was upfront about it, but they did tell me it doesn't start until 1 year later. 1 year from start date. And obviously that's not ideal, but I plan on contributing to my Roth and still, invest for retirement that way. And if possible, I'll do some non-retirement investment as well. So transit was not an option, and it is an option with my work, but I don't know what that means yet. I don't know if it means that they give me a monthly allowance for transportation, or if they just pay for my pass, or if they have a transit FSA where they take the money for transit pre-check. So I'll have to figure that out, but I do get some kind of transit benefit. And then the big one, aside from the pay, is the PTO. Turns out, something I wasn't informed of is that the old job did not have any PTO. I could take time off, but it would just be unpaid. And obviously I wasn't aware of that. I thought full-time jobs just came with time off, and I didn't think to ask because I thought that that's how it was at my old job, and I assumed that's just how it was everywhere. I don't know, no PTO accrual or like vacation time or sick time or anything. I could take the time off. If I took 2 days off for like a long weekend, I would just get 2 days unpaid, which doesn't work for me. With the new job, I get 2 weeks for the first year, 3 weeks for year 2, and then 1 week. Yeah, so the first year I accumulate my time off at 2 weeks for the year, at the rate of 2 weeks per year. Once I hit my 1 year with the company, that jumps up to 3 weeks, and then I still just accumulate 1 week of sick time per year, which compared to my previous job in Utah, this is not great, but obviously compared to this most recent job, it's pretty good. So what I was going to do is just kind of compare the two. So obviously the pay between the two, the new job is better. The pay, I prefer bi-weekly because I like having the extra paycheck every like 6 months or so. But that's not a big deal because, like I said, I will be getting larger paychecks because I'm paid semi-monthly, so that's okay. The location, I prefer the old, working from home and then going into the office 2 times per week, as opposed to having to go into the office every day for 3 months. That kind of sucks. Insurance, the new is better since I get it sooner. 401k, new is better because at least they told me what to expect and I have no idea about the other one. Transit, new since the old job didn't offer anything, and then PTO, very clearly new. So overall, I think the new job is going to be a much better fit for me, better financially, obviously, and just probably better for my mental health since I can take some time off. All right, so what this new job means for my budget, it's gonna be another messy month. I can't wait till I have a little bit of time at this new job, probably in June, where I can get a more set budget because I quit today. Today is Monday, May 9th. I gave notice today, but really I just quit because no notice was necessary. I was in training. I didn't have any work to do, so it didn't make sense to just keep training me for another week or 2 weeks. So I quit today, and today's my last day. I've already finished. It's noon, and I was done with work at 9 a.m. So I literally got 1 hour of work in today, and I'm done. And then I start my new job on Monday the 16th. So that obviously that's 1 week of no pay, and then switching from a bi-weekly to a semi-monthly schedule. I don't know how that's gonna affect my May budget. I don't think I'll get a paycheck in May for my new job, because if they were to go, like if they do their pay periods like middle of the month to end of the month, then my first paycheck would be in the beginning of June, but I don't know the specifics of what their pay periods look like. I just don't think I'm gonna get another paycheck for May. So May's budget is already messed up because I only have 1 paycheck coming in at my old job at lesser hours, lesser pay. So it's gonna be a messy budget month. And then something that's complicating things even more are unplanned things that came up in May. So first we booked some flights. In the budget check-in earlier, you saw that I spent over $400 on flights, and that was unplanned. We had talked about it last month about the possibility of going to visit my boyfriend's dad, but we hadn't confirmed anything, and ultimately he decided that we do want to go in June for Father's Day, and we haven't seen him in a couple years, so I fully support going. I just hadn't included in my budget because we decided after I created the budget to do it. So so that's kind of a hefty unplanned expense. Aside from that, I have a friend visit. She's just having a hard time in Utah right now and wanted to get out for a little bit, and she decided today, and booked her flight today, that she's gonna come visit me. Well, my boyfriend has a golf trip, so the time that he's away, she's coming to stay with me, and we're gonna do things around the city and be tourists. And I'll take her to some of the restaurants that we've found and stuff. But obviously with a friend visit and doing more, it's gonna come at an expense. So I'm gonna create a mini budget for my friend visit. And I bet it'll be pricey, because really what I was planning on doing that weekend is just staying home and watching all the movies that he doesn't want to watch, and watching the shows he doesn't want to watch, and just enjoying time by myself. But it'll be fun to finally have a visitor. But yeah, I am just having trouble with this budgeting business because just so many things come up randomly I'm not prepared for. I think once I have my sinking funds going and I have some like built up, I'll be able to pull from those sinking funds to pay for these unplanned things. But for now, I just barely started my sinking funds with my very first paycheck at the end of April. So it's about a week and a half later, and I obviously don't have enough in any of the sinking funds to pull for any of these things. So I'm finding it hard. I'm finding it hard to deal with these unplanned expenses, especially with my income situation. But I can only hope that it will get better. So that's it. That's all I have for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and give this a thumbs up, and make sure you subscribe. Bye.